quote, kids. Well, Big Ben's former teammate, Hines Ward, didn't hold back, saying Roethlisberger shouldn't air out his issues with teammates in public, and added, quote, I just think he has to take the initiative to kind of do more as a leader. So, Shannon, do you agree with Hines?
Nope. Therein lies the problem right there, Skip, because they're trying to force him into a role that he's ill-equipped to handle. Kevin Colbert is trying to do that. Kevin Colbert's trying to say he's our unquestioned leader. In all my 14 years, in all my years of playing organized sports, Skip, I've never had a coach says, this guy in the locker room is our unquestioned leader. I never heard him say that. I definitely had never heard a general manager say that and then refer to grown men as kids when half the locker room probably have kids of their own. That's another argument. But Skip, what Kevin Colbert was trying to do, he's trying to force Ben as a leader, and it'll never work. You know what, Skip? There's never been a situation where an owner, a general manager, a head coach can say, this guy's your leader. You know what you do? You have a locker room, and the guys will watch. And you watch, Skip, the guys will gravitate towards the leaders in that locker room. That's why you have to be careful not to have too many bad apples, right? Because sometimes bad apples can be very good leaders, Skip. And it leads you down the wrong path. It's just like the locker room is a pack. Skip, you have a singular dog. I've had dogs. I never told okay, now I want him to be the leader and I want you to follow.
They just take over.
They just do. That's how the locker room works. They watch what you do. They see how you work. They see how you talk to players, how you talk to coaches, the equipment guy, trainers, the people at the front. They watch all that, Skip, and they come to their conclusion, he's a hell of a football player. He's a terrible leader. I'm not listening to him. I'm not following him. The biggest mistake that we tend to make is that because the guy makes the most money, the guy plays the quarterback position, he has the C on his jersey, he's the leader. No, that's not the case.
But most of the time it's the case.
A lot of the time. That should
I
be
would
the
go
case.
to most. In NFL locker rooms, it's mostly the case that the quarterback's the leader. Mostly. It's more often than not.
If that is the case, your quarterback is a good leader and he is the leader, more times than not, you have a harmonious locker room and you tend to win. And you don't have this popping up all over the place. But see, here's the thing. Now, Emmanuel Sanders said this long time ago, that Peyton Manning is a way better leader. Oh, he's disgruntled. Antonio Brown has been linked talking about this. Oh, he's a receiver. You see, if someone says something and you don't like the criticism that he's labeling against a person that you like, you'll find a way to undercut it. Well, he's a diva. He plays the receiver position. Hines Ward. Again, they'll come out and try to undercut Hines. I've said this before. The Pittsburgh Steelers were a much better football team when Ben didn't have to lead. They had Jerome Bettis.
I'll buy that.
Hines Ward. They had Alan Faneca. They had Troy Polamalu.
You just said mouthfuls of natural-born leaders.
They had Joey Porter. And he and Joey Porter hadn't been, they had this separating because Joey pulled him to the side. Bro, he's terrible. As a leader and a lot of other things. That kind of spilled over, but that's not, we get to that another day. It's becoming very apparent that the people in the locker room see Ben for who and what he is. Now the rest of the world is getting an opportunity to see. And I said this, what, Skip, they tell me, well, Shannon, how do you know? You're not in the locker room. Well, how about some guys that's been in the locker room and keep saying the same thing? How many times does someone say, this guy is not the leader that you think he is, before you start to take them seriously? Or you can continuously undercut their argument because of the position that they play?
I do agree with your biggest picture point. Leaders are born, they're not appointed.
Nope.
You cannot appoint somebody. You be the, I'm just
Doesn't
not,
happen.
I don't have it. I don't have it. I don't have the intangibles. I don't have the knack, the savvy, the know-how. It just doesn't come easily to me to lead. I'm a solo act. That's what usually happens. I did like what Hines Ward said in one way, because it was the LeBron James memorial criticism of Ben. It was, don't do it publicly on your radio show. At least try to go behind closed doors. That's what he's saying. Pull somebody to the side. Keep it band of brothers on the radio show, but pull people to the side and say, this is what I need from you. That would be more quote unquote leadership than blasting Antonio on a radio show.
Skip, what happened is Ben is thinking he called in. You still the quarterback of the team. You can't say what Joe America is thinking. You the quarterback. So you can't publicly criticize AB or James Washington. Skip, you remember when Le'Veon Bell was thinking about coming back, Ben Roethlisberger on his radio show says, well, I don't care if AB comes back. I think James Conner should continue in his role. You and I look like, hold on, wait a minute, Ben. You're the quarterback. That's coaches and people behind the scenes. Why are you saying this publicly?
Yeah.
And so Ben doesn't realize, okay, you have a radio show. You're not a caller in of that radio show. You're still the quarterback. You do know that's going live. You do know your teammates are going to hear what you're saying about them.
Well, obviously, Ben has had a hard time through his career leading himself off the field, starting with the motorcycle and then the 2 incidents that we don't need to get deep into.
Right.
We all know what they were.
Right.
And that's the problem. That's where he lost some respect in the locker room as the quote-unquote leader.
Right.
What Kevin Colbert said last week was desperation to me.
Right.
It's also somewhat of an indictment of a guy I still love, a guy I've always said, if I played, I'd want to play for that guy, Mike Tomlin.
Right.
Sure.
But it's a little bit of an indictment when he's reaching out publicly to Ben. Oh, he's the guy. He's the only guy in our locker room who played in the last Super Bowl. And Ben obviously played in 3 Super Bowls, and he won 2 Super Bowls. And you can say the first one, he was a game manager and just went along for the ride,
because
right?
he played terrible.
Well, he did play terrible. But he has proven to be, he does somewhat lead by example during games because he's a playmaker.
Right.
You got to give him that. But that's all he can be is by example.
But Skip, leading by example doesn't say when you throw an interception, well,
No.
who expected the defensive tackle to be there? That's not what you say.
No.
And you don't say, well, AB, without watching, well, AB ran that route too flat. And James Washington, he got to make those plays because if they make, you don't, that's not what a leader does.
Unfortunately, he plays the leadership position. And unfortunately, I'm going to say it again about Antonio, he plays a dependent position.
Right.
So even if he's a natural-born leader, it's hard for him to be. I told you, the one receiver I thought was one of the all-time great leaders was our man, Michael Irvin. He was the leader of those 90s Cowboys.
Right.
How many times have you seen the receiver, the wide receiver, be a leader of the football team? Jerry Rice was not a leader of the 49ers.
Look, when I played, we didn't have the captaincy. I was never the captain. But ask Wade Phillips, my former coach, ask Brian Billick, my former coach at Baltimore, and ask Mike Shanahan, when they needed something, who did they come ask?
Okay.
84.
All right. Fine.
Ask the guys
I
in the
got
locker
it.
room.
I got it.
Born with that.
But
I got it. I'm with you on that. I buy that.
You just.
And then you had the reverse in Baltimore.
Right.
When you went to Baltimore, Ray was the leader as the middle linebacker, right? Okay, and you.
The old big chair Shane.
Okay,
Old big chair
all right,
Shaw.
well, that's fine. I got that.
But
that's a very different dynamic than usual.
Yes.
Because most of the great quarterbacks were pretty to very good leaders.
And
most.
And basically, guess what, Skip? In Baltimore, it's always been a defensive guy.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's Suggs now. Look at that. Lamar, they don't flow. Joe Flacco not a leader.
Nope, never was.
Oh.
I think Lamar's got a chance to turn into that at some point.
Because all those heavyweights are starting to, you're going to see what Mosley's going to be. But you have Ed Reed and you have Ray Lewis and you have Suggs. That's 20 years of Hall of Fame level play. You get that. But Ben doesn't. Kevin Colbert, I don't care how much you pay Ben. I don't care how much you say. Oh, he's the leader. He's the unquestioned leader. And he kid. First of all, I pulled Kevin Colbert to the side like, bro, I ain't no kid.
Yep.
And I'm definitely
no,
not his kid.
I got it. He was talking in football terms. They're all kids compared to what he's accomplished. That's what he's saying.
And that's the mistake that you can make. Because of an accomplishment, you become a leader because of what you accomplished. Them guys don't care, Skip.
No.
Because here's the thing. When I'm in a locker room, yes, John had more clout than me. But he was still the player. He's a player just like I am. He won a 46. He ain't no general manager. I'm gonna treat him like a player.
Sure.
Not like they want him. They want the players, the other 51, to treat Ben like he's more than. He's not. And you don't want that separation, Skip. You all want all the guys to feel like we're on the same level. We're playing for the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah, we have more clout. Yeah, I get it. But for me to think that Ben is more than me,
I got it.
Not as a player, Skip, but as
I got it. What happened the moment Baker Mayfield set foot in Cleveland, Ohio? What happened? he started taking over that football team because he's natural born, right?
Yes.
And by the end of the year, there's no doubt. They love him. They'll fight for him. They'll, quote unquote, die for him on the football field.
Can't deny it.
For the most part, Skip, when you go join the military, they don't appoint somebody. They let it play out. They see, okay, look who they following. Look who they gravitating towards. Okay, those are the guys that move up the ranks rather quickly.
What does Mel Kiper say that he values most watching the combine? On quarterback day, he wants to see who the alpha is.
Right.
Because they're in a big group, there might be 20 of them. Who starts to take over? Deshaun Watson, his day, he just started taking over the group.
And the receivers, the way they command the huddle, Skip, which receivers get around them. Okay, what do you want? How do you want me to run this route? They're asking you, what do you want from them?
Oh, I like that. We got a lot to look forward to. Boy, and the Steelers, they would like some positive news this offseason. Feels like lately it's just been
the Patriots are not going away.
Pretty negative. We're going back to the $1 million question. A popular question around here.
Yep.
Will the Lakers make the playoffs?
I want to know, Mr. Sharp.
I want to know, too. They're going to answer that question next.
Is crispy Applewood smoked bacon the best thing to ever happen to the Big Mac, or what?
No, the Big Mac is clearly the best thing